And this is part 2 of the jungle creation series. Let's call it a series. I shall see if yes, I have this selected. Now we've already got some pretty nice lush terrain over here. And this is about an hour's of work, a bit more maybe. And so for a sketch, I think it does the job. And I'll try and finish some of these tree canopies over here. So let's continue the work, because there's always more work. And you know, you can always go ahead and delete floating things. Also, there's a pretty nice option to control some silhouettes. So for example, this is too painstakingly obvious that this is a generated, you know, surface, and I would just like to make it less, how should I say it, less artificial, if that's a good way to put it, but obviously it is artificial, so make it look more natural. Yeah, here, for example, if I go back to this layer and I choose the sphere tool, use the jitter cylinder on brush and draw from first point, then I should be able to draw some. Okay, let's not have jitter. And why is this not drawing? Well, we'll soon find out. Oh, got it. We've got it set to act as Vox height, which is kind of not bad, because look, Vox height also, so here you go. Here's a happy accident. Vox height is a neat tool to get rid of spacing 1. Okay, act as Vox height. Oh, draw from first point. Maybe that doesn't need to. Okay, the jitter position might be. Let's see if it's 0. Then what happens? Yeah, this is kind of more like it. Good. So here is a nice little trick. So the yeah, so we want to make this more natural. That's the essence of it. And these cylinders just won't cut it for natural looks. Now, what if I make the spacing like really small? Whoops. I think it's better to isolate the thing, the layer, to actually see where I need to work. So let's bring down the spacing, maybe the jitter position also. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Okay, good. So here we are doing some work. We are destroying, but non-destructively, some of the things that we previously blocked out. And that is fine. It's fine because these were only initial blobs that were not gonna, by any means, stay like this, unless we were really going for this cubist or geometric look, but we're not. I'm not saying we're doing hyperrealism either. We're going to land somewhere in a stylized zone, so that's going to be fun. It's always fun to copy nature, but also stylize it the way you would like to, if you know what I mean. I think that's the most fun. Okay, and here you have 3DCoat being super creatively supportive. Okay, that's what I'm going to say about 3DCoat. It is a fun tool. I can't say it enough. I think I've said it many times in videos, past videos. If you want to wink wink, go check those out. but you know, only if you're interested in this kind of work. I mean, it doesn't feel like work at the moment. Good. Ah, look at that. Looks pretty neat. Pretty neat. Okay, maybe let's do the same with this. I mean, we still got a bunch of big blobs floating around, so I'm going to destroy some of it. And I'm only, you know, being non-destructive over here. This just feels nice. You know, I'm scribbling as if I were scribbling in Photoshop. And that's all I'm doing. We're just going to get rid of these big bubbles. That's all. See, it's like already looking more exciting to the eye. And it's a very satisfying process, if you want to know. I'll tell you. So we're just going around. I mean, it feels a bit like cheating, but it's not. It's the real thing. What you see is what you get. And if you think that I'm overhyping this, then please say so in the comments. But I don't think so. I don't think I'm doing that. Yeah, too much spheres earlier. So we'll just get rid of some of them. Make it feel less. Sometimes I can see little skulls in these spheres because the way they have these holes in them, some of them feel like little skulls. That's just, you know, having fun with the material. Okay, and you know, this is all voxels, so I mean, it is absolutely in 3 dimensions, inside and out. It's not a surface. I mean, it adds up to being a surface, but it behaves like a volumetric mass, which it is, at least in 3DCoat. And then if you would export this, then obviously you can go ahead and okay, I want to get rid of that window, and maybe these tool options are too wide as well. Just to have a little bit, maybe the layer panel needs to be a bit smaller. I want to have more space to work. Okay, well, the underbelly of this will not be present. And so if you can see that we pretty much, we're destroying the mesh, but we're not necessarily getting less triangles. In fact, the number of triangles is slowly creeping up. So be aware of that. Over here, you can see down there that I'm actually creating more triangles, even though I am destroying a bunch of voxels. It's kind of interesting to see, but you know, and this is a testament to working from big to small, which I really like. We would be, you know, absolutely. I'm looking at this large shape. Look, so you know, this over here. Oh, that looks also good. See, here's another happy accident. I mean, it just looks cool. Control Z. If I would make the jitter position even a bit larger, then see, you could, and in fact, I will do a pass. You know, I'm going to do this, and this kind of goes on the surface wherever my brush is, and my brush is probably jumping all around on this area. So I'm making it even more. See, we're almost at 4 million polygons. I'm making it even more varied and even more interesting. And I am putting detail where I need it, where I want it. Now, the minute I say, okay, let's stop for a second, and I'll go act as vox hide, and I'll have all of this acting as, you know, a negative space, which is pretty awesome. And if I enlarge the brush, look at how big chunks I can get rid of. In fact, I could even do stuff like this. Well, this will be interesting. So if I do this, okay, maybe this is in the yeah, some modes. Okay, so if I would uncheck use jitter and use this tool, then check this out. What happens over here? Jitter is unchecked. Oh, cylinder. Well, let's use a sphere. Look at this. I mean, this is just super nice. I'm extracting huge volumes of spherical negativeness, if you know what I mean. I'm really controlling this. But if I want silhouette control, then I can always go like this and prune the silhouette like crazy. See? I controlled that silhouette like a boss. So you can go here and say that, yeah, I would like this to disappear. And then we almost have some tight silhouette behavior. Or over here, like I'm, you know, making this a really wiggly line. And there you go. So I really recommend using this tool, the sphere tool. And then we go back and all of a sudden, you know, we have this lush environment, which is pretty amazing. Okay, and that's a different layer, so that's why I can't control it. And we are at 7 million polygons, which is, again, not that much. How about taking a step further and adding a little bit of texture to this layer, which is yes, it's this layer. And although we do already have these nice little rocky, you know, indents and holes, I'll just take it a step further, and because I know that this has been, this has hidden geometry, I'll just say geometry. So this specific layer over here, which is the, let's call it Riverside Rock. Okay, so Riverside Rock layer has hidden geometry, which we created pebbles out of, and that's our pebble layer. And this is nice and sweet. But we would like to add additional, you know, textures to this. So the trick will be to first get rid of deleted hidden geometry. So delete hidden needs to be pressed, and we can do two things. But I'll do this first. I'll press the V button, and I'll just add an additional noise. So now we are in surface mode, and I'm trying to add some displacement to this. Yep, that's the wrong slider. I want the characteristic size to be smaller, like 10. That's kind of not that bad, but it's too, okay, make it 1. Okay, that's too much. So let's just, let's make it 3 times as big. Good, and let's make it the degree 0.2 because we want to make it subtle. What if I want to make it, okay, make it 1 again. Yeah, so this is kind of a Voronoi type of, see? So it really, it's either you make it like puffy, like, what is that called? Popcorn. And then, you know, it's got this interesting, I don't know what to call it, type of character, or it's this, the other way. And maybe I will go with this, even though this looks way too aggressive, but we'll take care of that later. So displacement degree should be, let's double it. No, that's too much. Okay, 1. Okay, I'll go with this, and then I'll reintroduce voxels because we want to get rid of all that. Interesting. That is interesting. The hidden geometry all of a sudden appeared, which I didn't want. And I did delete geometry, by the way. Okay, let's see what this does for us. So it kind of shouldn't behave this way. Interesting. Maybe this is kind of a bug. I'm going to downsize it. Either way, we did, I'm just going to smooth it. Okay, so either way, we did get some texture onto this piece of geometry, like geometry texture, not texture, which is image-based. But nevertheless, let's carry on. Okay, so I just had an idea from looking at this angle. I'll tell you what it is. And the idea is that I would like the trees to have a big green, you know, a big green little, like a big green bridge over here. Since we have a bridge of rocks over here, which we might emphasize later on. I'd like to have some, and you know what? We can always optimize. So this is our biggest layer, I think, with 4 million. Yeah, we can easily say that, first of all, geometry, delete, hidden. And I'd like to optimize this to, let's just make it 2 million. Let's see what that gives us. 1, 2, 3. Okay, halving it. We're obviously going to lose not that much. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Visually, it didn't destroy anything. And good, we can carry on. Now, let's move on to, so here is the true power of voxels. So look, I just saw this part of this rocky terrain, and I said, why don't we have a nice little cave over here? And then, yes, we will have a cave over here. I'm going to use the sphere tool, and I want to delete hidden, first of all. Use the sphere tool to act as box hide. Perfect. And I'm gonna draw my way over here. So this is gonna be our cave. And it's just gonna be so cool. So we're gonna have a little, you know, the cave is gonna have two like tavern, I don't know, what do you call these? But this is just gonna be so exciting to look at. And here, I would like to destroy some of the, I'm just pressing H and destroying whatever is in the way, obviously. And by destroying, I just mean I'm deleting or painting. Okay, here, get out of the way. Here, get out of the way. I know that you're going to be a floating tree, doesn't matter. Please, let's do this cave thing. Good. We can even make it big, if we'd like. You know, I'm pressing H to get onto the right layer, and I am on the right layer. Okay, good, cool. So we've got 2 caves over here, but we can always, you know, first of all, the cave, I would like to make it slope down in that area, and this could go in the other. So these 2 different styles of entrance, if you will. Good. And then if we want to, you know, first of all, let's isolate this. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. So if I want to reconstruct this, then I can either do, you know, I can go inside here, press W, locate the back, and choose the Vox Hide tool. And by pressing Control, whoops, okay, I've got this lasso tool. I can just reconstruct that that entrance. And with this one, same thing, W, and reconstruct the backside of this cave, which is pretty awesome, I think. Now, let's not get carried away, but, you know, deleting hidden is now necessary over here, and we can further style this opening of this cave, you know, with a little bit of help with the move tool. Let's make it like really exciting looking. I think this one, yeah, this. Okay, and over here we can, you know, just add some more volume, and now not box hide, but just add more volume. And this is for reasons if we'd like to further build a cave, but just for the sake of getting deeper holes. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, and over here. Let's just, okay, let's not make it identical. It's always a trap to copy your previous, and I always do it, so you copy your previous stroke and then all of a sudden you're repeating yourself pretty heavily. So I'm just going to delete hidden. I think 3DCoat does a good job of allowing you to mess up a voxel surface in several ways. And okay, I think we can move on. So we've got cool caves over there. If we go to render view, then they will probably see there'll probably be more prominent. Good. Obviously, in this scenario, we can change the sunlight direction over there. This kind of looks cool. And these are matte caps, so this won't look as cool as a properly rendered thing, but it doesn't look that bad either. So, okay. I mean, there's a ton of things to do still, but, you know, I know that I'm pushing it. Like, if you want to call this a jungle environment, you could, and you can call it a mess as well. But we're trying to create a messy jungle. You know, this could be either the base of a game or of a animation. Let's go back to sculpt view for better navigation. And then you can, like a photographer, you can go around looking for cool angles to start photography, I guess. Obviously, we didn't build a proper side over there, so at the moment this only holds up decently from these viewing angles. So we could have either this angle or something like this. And again, there's a whole lot of refinement that we can and will do, but you know, it's a lush environment, and you can style it any way you want. So let's try something with this. Yes, so let's also try adding texture to this. Now, how can we do that? We have a number of tools to choose from. I would say, okay, let's use the pinch tool for now. It's not the perfect tool for this maybe, but it will give us some nice details, and then we can see if we want to live with them or just get rid of them. So I'm going to use a pinch tool, and I'm going to start drawing, well, elevation lines. Let's call them that. I'm going to basically try to put in some texture, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, so this is obviously stylized rock, and you can argue whether you're a fan of this or not. I'm just experimenting, not saying that this is the best, but we are getting some texture already, so that's not bad. You could also do a little bit of a, yeah, so something like this. Whoops, careful if you, yeah, so if you don't start your stroke on the model, then the viewport will tilt aggressively. Okay, so a little bit of texture over here. And now I'm going to press Control and then see what this does. This obviously makes the whole more sharper, the whole previously. So we are getting some interesting forms, and then I'm letting go of Control. So it's kind of a, yeah, whatever works, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. We'll do it differently next time. Oh, and by the way, I have got some other stuff up my sleeve. 3DCoat is just awesome. I just thought about a tool that, you know, can make this even cooler. And it's the split tool, of course it is. So let's use it. Split tool. I want the split border width to 0. And then, oh, obviously I want it to be really organic. So I'm gonna, oh, there you go. Of course. Now we're getting a bunch of new parented volumes, as you can see on the outliner or the sculpt tree. But sooner and later, we will, and then we can split the split. Split the split. There you go. And this will kind of be super interesting. At least I think that it will. Split the split of the split. Okay, cool. And now let's use the move tool to move stuff around. And maybe now we could, I want to use the move tool and the auto pick. Okay, so make it a big brush size, not through all volumes this time. There you go. Okay. Okay. I think you gotta just lightly press on the intended volume that you'd like to, so that you basically pick by just, you know, lightly pressing on it. And over there, over there. Okay, so now we're definitely getting some stuff done over here. This is going to be, whoops. I think it's going to be fun to see the result of this. And okay, I did press H because I kind of wanted auto pick to, I don't know. Okay, maybe this. And actually, you can also choose a big bulky alpha, which will get rid of the soft selection and just push your complete volume as if it were a solid piece. So that's kind of a nice trick to know about. Okay. Maybe we can split some more over here, because why not? Like this. Over here. Well, you get the point of this. And yes, everything is kind of, let's use the inflate brush with the auto pick feature, and then that also separates stuff from the pack. The opposite. There you go. There you go. Let's make this smaller. This one bigger. You know, pushing it through the normals, along the normals. Good. That's our cave over there. Oops, that's too much. And this one. And maybe this one. Okay, I mean, you get the idea around this. Let's merge visible. Let's merge visible. Good. And it's pretty much, I'm pretty sure that it is this one. And it is. So we should, okay, this is, let's change the parent of this to root. And then maybe we can, this will be rocks. I'm just going to call it rocks now and hide it. Yes, this one remained ghosted. Yeah, it's this. And the children of these are still there. And we will get rid of these. So if I delete this, good, and it deletes everything. Good. I want to Control Z. Let's not have it delete everything, because I wanted it to be okay. Anyways, I'll just do the color. That's what I wanted to delete. Okay, rocks. There you go. I want the edit shader settings to be desaturated and a bit darker, maybe. Okay, there you go. And now we can go back to our usual programming. And good. So I won't say this made a huge difference, but you know, it's always a possibility to add more texture. And we will go further and add more texture with the noise. And you know what? I'm kind of liking this. Make the characteristics too smaller. Okay, we'll take this. take it or leave it, take it. Back to voxels. And then let's see what happened. Yeah, there's a lot of noisy geometry, which we can resample. We don't need to have it. And we can also smooth out some stuff. I know we added texture and then we're smoothing it out, so what are we doing? But anyways, good. We'll take this further later. So at this point, I should say, I mean, there's a bunch of trees that we can, address. Let's not leave them here like this. But at the moment, I think that we have come to a fork in the road, and that is because if I press render, you can see that I put a bunch of detail relatively quickly, and we do have, so we should treat this for what it is. It isn't a final version of anything, but it is a mood piece. So I'll export this into Blender and see what we can come up with. See you in Blender. Okay, after importing all of the objects into Blender, I did a basic coloring pass on all of these separate elements. Gave the tree trunks some basic brown color and everything else. I'm using cycles at the moment for rendering, not because I want to, but I was afraid that EEVEE might not handle the shadows as well, but let's see. So it's not bad at all, EEVEE, and I am going to continue with developing this, and we'll see what becomes of this scene. By the way, I hope to make this a series if anyone's interested. If not, that's also good. And yes, the water can be and should be bigger. And I gave it a basic subsurface scattering. There's lots to explore and refine. And this process only covers basic blocking. So as you can see, it's not finished, and I'll leave it at that. I might do a second tutorial on this, and I might do a whole different block out. I'm not sure if anyone's going to be interested in that, but anyways, there's other things that I'd like to achieve. For example, art directing trees, and then, for example, sculpting certain types of trees, and then sculpting them in bulk. So making at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 versions of typical jungle trees, 4 or 5, maybe even more versions of palm trees, some rock, some styles of rock, and then I'll probably scatter them either in Blender, or I'm not sure, we can scatter stuff in 3DCoat as well, but the end goal is to make a nice little scene that, well, you know, if you want to make a game ready and optimize it, that's also a path we can take. I would also like to do some texturing, obviously, on the whole thing. So it's going to be a fun project, and we could also, and we should, populate it with some types of characters and maybe a little story. So these are the plans. Who knows? Who knows whether these will ever come to fruition? But you know, one can hope. Hopefully, this is a first version of something good. So 3DCoat is great, very fun to work with, and I do recommend it. Obviously, Blender is king, so we probably will end up here. And okay, we'll see you whenever. Bye.